It was midnight when Sarah decided to take the shortcut through Ravenwood to reach her friend's house. She had heard whispers about the eerie little town nestled between two towering forests. Locals spoke of the peculiar stillness of Ravenwood at night, a quiet so heavy that even the animals refused to venture near. But Sarah wasn't one to believe in ghost stories. Riding her trusty old bike under the pale moonlight, the path stretched endlessly ahead. Fog rolled in like an ethereal blanket, muffling the sound of her tires crunching on gravel. A faint flickering lantern light appeared in the distance, marking the entrance to the forgotten town. As Sarah entered Ravenwood, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew colder, and the moonlight seemed to dim as though the stars themselves feared to shine upon the town. Rows of decrepit houses lined the street, their windows dark and empty. A single crow cawed from a broken fence, its cry echoing unnaturally loud in the stillness. She pedaled faster, feeling the weight of unseen eyes watching her. Suddenly, her bike chain snapped with a metallic clink. Her momentum carried her forward, and she stumbled, landing on the damp cobblestone. A shiver ran down her spine as she realized she was stranded. A faint whisper carried on the wind, barely audible. "Why are you here?" She turned sharply, her heart pounding. No one was there. Determined to leave, Sarah began walking, pushing her bike along. The whispers grew louder, turning into fragmented sentences. "Help us. Leave now. Beware the keeper." Ahead, the silhouette of an old inn loomed, its sign hanging by a single chain read, "The Hollow Lantern." A faint orange glow came from one of the windows. Desperate for help, Sarah hesitated before stepping inside. The door creaked open to reveal a dimly lit room, filled with dusty furniture and cobwebbed chandeliers. A fire crackled in the hearth, yet the warmth did not reach her. "Hello," she called out. An elderly man appeared behind the counter, his face pale and gaunt. His voice was low and raspy. "You shouldn't have come here." "I just need help fixing my bike," Sarah explained nervously. He shook his head slowly. "Fixing the bike won't save you. It's her you should fear." Before she could ask what he meant, the fire in the hearth extinguished itself, plunging the room into darkness. The man's voice echoed one final warning. "Run! She's here!" Rushing out of the inn, Sarah found the streets of Ravenwood transformed. What was once a desolate lane was now alive with ghostly figures. Shadowy silhouettes moved in slow procession, their heads bowed, their faces obscured. Lanterns swung in their hands, casting pale, flickering light that didn't touch the ground. The air was thick with an unnatural silence. Not a footstep nor whisper could be heard. Sarah froze, unsure of whether to hide or run. One of the figures stopped abruptly and turned toward her. The face was featureless, like a mask made of mist. It raised its hand and pointed down the street. Taking the cue, Sarah darted in the opposite direction, her heart pounding in her ears. As she fled, the figures dissolved into tendrils of fog, but she could still feel their gaze burning into her back. Her frantic flight brought her to the edge of town, where a small, crumbling graveyard lay shrouded in shadows. A gnarled tree stood at its center, its twisted branches reaching like skeletal fingers toward the sky. Beneath it was a weathered stone monument. Drawn by a strange compulsion, Sarah approached the monument. Inscribed on the stone were the words, "For those who dared to disturb her rest, the keeper of Ravenwood claims her toll." Before she could process the warning, the ground beneath her feet shifted. A low growl emanated from the darkness, and a pair of glowing red eyes appeared among the tombstones. The keeper had awakened. The figure that emerged was far more terrifying than the ghost she'd encountered earlier. Towering and cloaked in swirling shadows, the keeper's presence was suffocating. "You dare tread where the living are forbidden," it boomed. Sarah stumbled backward, but her foot caught on a root, and she fell to the ground. The keeper raised a clawed hand, shadows curling around it like smoke. Suddenly, the lantern from the inn appeared in Sarah's hand. Its flame burst to life, golden and radiant, casting the keeper into retreat. The whispers returned, but this time they were clear. "Use the flame to break her curse." The keeper howled as Sarah instinctively turned the lantern's light toward it. The darkness peeled away, revealing the town in its former glory. The figures from the silent parade appeared, now as people, grateful, smiling, and free. As the keeper dissolved into the mist, the lantern grew brighter, its flame transforming into a soft, pulsating glow. The elderly man reappeared, his face no longer gaunt, but peaceful. "You have done what none before you could," he said. "Ravenwood is free, but the lantern's flame must remain lit, or the curse will return." Before Sarah could ask how, the lantern melted into her chest, leaving a faint golden mark over her heart. "You are its keeper now," the man said before vanishing. The town began to fade. The mist receded, and Sarah found herself standing on the main road under the rising sun. Her bike was there, good as new, but the golden mark on her chest pulsed faintly.
Road trip.
Years later, travelers would tell tales of a glowing lantern, guiding lost souls through dark nights. And somewhere in the world, Sarah, now the keeper, wandered with her eternal flame, ensuring that darkness never claimed another.